There are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms you often miss. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Will the circle be unbroken by and by and by, in a better home awaiting, in the sky, in the sky, in the joyous days of childhood, oft they told of wondrous love, pointed to the dying Savior. Now they dwell with Him above. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, in a better home awaiting, in the sky, in the sky.
All right, David out there in Banjo Land, Mike Hedding here. I've got a new lesson I'm excited to share with you today. One of the most requested topics I've had when I started creating these banjo lessons was more detailed backup lessons. So super common for beginners to struggle playing backup. It's easy to focus on just playing leads when you first start. You know, the leads are more fun to play. And it's very common to neglect playing backup. I know I did this when I was first learning. And then I went to my first jam session and I realized pretty quickly that you're going to be playing backup probably 95% of the time. So you're going to be playing a lot more backup than you are lead. So super important to know. If you can play good backup, people are going to want to play with you. You're going to make them sound good. So for this lesson, I've enlisted my buddy Clint. He's going to sing a couple verses and choruses of the classic tune, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And then I'm going to break down detailed backup. So how I do, backup for the verse, how I do backup for the chorus, up the neck, down the neck. I've tabbed it all out for this one. So we're not just going to be talking general techniques. For this lesson, we're going to be getting in the weeds on the tab of note for note. This is exactly what I played. Normally I probably wouldn't play the backup the exact same way, twice. But for this example and for this lesson, we're going to do that. And I'd encourage you to use these tabs as a jumping off point for your own creativity. I don't think it's going to be practical to try and memorize, 60 or 70 measures worth of tab. But what I'd recommend for this lesson is use these tabs as a starting point, a jumping off point for your own creativity. And it takes a while to build up your backup vocabulary. And part of this lesson is going to address that and hopefully give you some new vocabulary for your backup. And if you're watching the preview of this lesson, you can head over to my website, MikeHeddingMusic.com, and grab the full-length lesson. You'll get access to watch all the videos, and you can download the tabs and the practice tracks. All right, here's the backup lesson for Will the Circle Be Unbroken. All right, so let's start breaking down the verse backup for Will the Circle Be Unbroken. So I kept the backup pretty simple. I kept it in Scruggs style. And for this lesson, I'm going to do some note-for-note breakdown on the difficult parts, but I also want to talk more conceptually for this lesson. So why I chose certain rolls, why I put certain licks in the spots that I did. I think that'll be more helpful long-term, kind of knowing the concepts behind how to play backup rather than trying to memorize a long tab. I have all the tab there, tabbed out if you need it. But again, I think it's going to be hard in context to memorize 60 or 70 measures worth of tab. So I think in this lesson, think in terms of the concepts I'm using, and I think that'll be helpful. Okay, so let's start breaking down the first little bit of the backup. Remember, we don't have a pickup for backup. The vocals are going to kick it off with I was standing, and that's going to be the first spot we start rolling. So I'm going to do a 2-5 slide on the 4 string, and we're going to do a 2-measure forward roll pattern. So I'm going to do TIM with my right hand, strings 4-3-1 with a 2-5 slide. Then I'm going to go up and do 5-3-1 3 times. So 3 forward rolls, then we need 4 more notes. I'm going to do T-I-T-M. So 4th string, 3rd string. And then I'm going to put my second finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then open 1st string. That's a great 2-measure forward roll pattern. So you have 4 forward rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives you 12 notes, and then we need 4 more notes, 16 notes total for 2 measures, and then we have T-I-T-M. So you could loop that. And we are technically playing the first note of the melody. The melody would walk up. So, but that first note's also the root note, so it's a G. So it's also good to kind of, start by playing the root note. So, I like to do that roll even though it technically is the melody. In backup, they generally say stay away from the melody, don't play note for note melody. But in this case, we also want to play the chords behind it. So, sliding into that root note to start, it helps define the harmonies and the chords around it. So that's why I'm doing that there. I also like staying away from the melody by rolling on the lower strings. The melody goes up onto the 2nd string. So I am kind of staying away from that. I'm also staying away from the 2nd string with my right hand. So let's do that a few times. It's also just a great roll to start feeling how long 2 measures is. It's also good practice with the syncopation of the forward roll. And then measure 3, we have a little pause in the vocal line. So I was standing by my window, and there's a little pause there, and we'll refer to back to the intro with Clint to hear that. But we have a perfect spot to throw a little lick right here in measure 3. So I'm going to use the classic Scruggs lick to start. You can just loop that. So right when he lands, he says that last phrase of the vocal line, I play that lick. So that's a perfect spot to throw a lick in there. So again, you got your classic Scruggs lick, that would be a good one. What are some other ones we could do there? We could do the double hammer-on lick, if you know that one. You could do this little backwards roll lick that we'll use later on. You could use basically any little lick there that kind of plays on the lower strings. You could do that. You could even just do a pinch. We just want a little accent there that plays around the vocal melody there. So again, Clint's going to sing that last line of the melody. So we'll play from the beginning. So there's a perfect little spot there to throw a little lick. So again, that's a lot of what I'm thinking about in backup is playing around the vocal lines. Think of it like a call and response or a conversation. If I play a lick the exact same time he sings a vocal line, we're going to be kind of butting heads. Where if I pick those spots to throw a lick after he plays the vocal line, there's that perfect little space there for me to throw that lick in. So let's quick listen to the intro again with Clint doing that.
I was standing by my window. I was standing by my window. I was standing by my window.
Okay, so again, you can hear how I played that lick around the vocal line. And then for measure 4, we're going to hit the thumb on the 3rd string, pinch the outside strings, and then we're going to slide up into a C chord. So we're going to 2/4 slide on the 3rd string with a forward roll T-I-M-T. And then I'm going to pinch into my C. So that's what I'm doing there. Remember, the melody goes down. So in the C chord, the melody goes down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cross the melody. Instead of staying now down on the lower strings, we're basically going to go to the higher strings, higher in pitch. So I'm going to roll past the melody. So right there. So again, the melody goes down. So we're going to kind of cross the melody there, and so we were down on the lower strings to start. Now we're going to slide up and pinch that C chord. It's also going to help pop that first part of the C chord out. So again, we're rolling into that. And then I do a pinch right here, an accent. And then I'm going to do 2 forward rolls, 5, 2, 1. So again, I roll into that. I'm also playing the root note there too. That's another instance of playing the root note, first fret, second string. That's going to help imply that harmony. So, and then I'm rolling 5, 2, 1. And then right here I have another little spot to do a lick. So I'm going to play a forward reverse roll in my C chord. And then open third string, another lick. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's break down measures 5 through 7. So we roll into our C, and then he has a vocal line there. So I'm gonna kind of hang out there, and that's where I'm just gonna do 2 forward rolls. So what I call kind of a generic roll, something that doesn't have a lot of melody. So just kind of, again, I'm keeping that forward roll going, which keeps the momentum of the song going. I'm using that pinch to pop out the melody, or the backup there. And then now he has a space in the vocal line, so now I do a little bit more of a rolly lick here. And then remember, the melody goes down to the low string, so I'm going to hit the third string and then do a lick. So on a cold and cloudy day, and then there's a little spot there again for a lick. So I'm going to do my Scruggs fill lick. But you could do any of those licks we talked about before in measure 3. So let's listen to the opening example again of how we did that with Clint.
On a cold and cloudy day. On a cold and cloudy day.
Remember, I'm sliding into that. As I get more advanced too, I might throw a fancier lick for that second part of measure, or of the C chord, the second measure of the C. So it'd be measure 6. So I might do something like. So as I get more advanced, I can make that second part of the C chord. I might do a little pull-off lick. I'm kind of staying up on the higher sounding strings because the melody goes down there, remember? So I'm always thinking about where the melody is in just trying to stay away from it, even in a general sense, you know? So just think in terms of staying away from the melody there. And then a lick. And then right here, we're gonna walk back up and then pinch. So that's just a fill. It's basically like a bass walk to set the tempo again, and we're coming back around to the top of the melody. So I'll do that a lot in backup. Again, it's like a bass walk or a guitar run. So it's another way to imply the chords there. So again, I'm using kind of some bass walks to help me kind of move the chords around there. So let's play 5 through 8. So we have. And then measure 9, I'm pinching again to set the tempo. And then a 2-5 slide. And then measure 10 is that lick that we were doing. This is an alternate lick. This is a classic fill lick. I'm sliding again with that 2 measure forward roll. So what am I doing there? I'm kind of playing a basic lick without getting too busy in playing the melody, right? So I'm kind of trying to stay away from the melody there.